It's just after 11 p.m. on a Thursday night, October 12th, 2017. A cold, relentless rain is falling over the city, turning the streets into slick black mirrors that reflect the lonely glow of the streetlights. This is the kind of night where most people are inside, warm and dry, settled in for the evening. But not everyone. On a grainy black and white CCTV feed from a corner store on Glenmore Avenue, a figure appears. It's a woman. She's running, not jogging, not exercising, but sprinting with a desperate energy, her arms pumping, her head turning back over her shoulder as if checking for something, or maybe someone behind her. This is Madison Rayner, and this fleeting ghostly image is the last time anyone ever saw her. The footage is frustratingly unclear. The camera is old, the lens fogged by the rain. You can just make out her light-colored trench coat, a dark blur of hair plastered to her face. She runs through the frame in less than 5 seconds, a frantic burst of motion against the static, empty street. Then she's gone, swallowed by the darkness at the edge of the camera's view. What could make a person run like that, on a night like this, into an area of the city known for its abandoned warehouses and quiet, desolate lots? The police would later timestamp this moment at 11:07 p.m. It's a single, chilling snapshot in time, a moment that marks the beginning of a mystery that has confounded investigators and haunted her family for years. When you look at the footage over and over, you start to see things, or maybe you just think you do. You lean closer to the screen, trying to decipher the expression on her face. Is it fear, panic, determination? The low resolution makes it impossible to know for sure. All you have is the raw, undeniable fact of her movement. She is running away from something, or is she running towards something? This single piece of evidence is the cornerstone of the entire case, a silent, looping testament to Madison Rayner's last known moments. It's a puzzle with almost all the pieces missing, and the ones that are there just don't seem to fit together at all. Just seconds after Madison disappears from view, something else enters the frame. It's another figure, taller, dressed in dark clothing, moving at a brisk pace, almost a jog, in the same direction Madison went. The quality is even worse for this second person. They are little more than a smudge of pixels against the rainy backdrop. They appear, follow the same path, and then they too are gone. Was this person chasing her? Or was it just a coincidence? Another soul out in the miserable weather, their path happening to cross with Madison's at this critical juncture. The police couldn't say, but the image is deeply unsettling. It adds a sinister layer to the video of the running girl, transforming it from a mystery into something that feels much more menacing. So who was Madison Rayner? To understand the mystery, you first have to understand the person. And by all accounts, Madison was the last person you'd expect to find at the center of a dark, unsolved disappearance. She was 28 years old, a talented graphic designer working for a successful marketing firm downtown. Her colleagues described her as quiet, but brilliant. She was the one who stayed late to perfect a project, the one with an impeccable eye for color and layout. She wasn't a partier. She didn't have a history of drama. Her life, as far as anyone could tell, was a carefully curated picture of stability. She paid her rent on time, watered her plants, and called her mom every Sunday. Her apartment, which she shared with her roommate Chloe, was a reflection of her personality. It was neat, organized, and filled with books on art history and design theory. There were no signs of a struggle, no indication that anything was amiss. Her laptop was on her desk, her wallet and keys were gone, but her passport was still in a drawer. It wasn't the apartment of someone planning to run away and start a new life. It was the apartment of someone who expected to come back.
Madison had no known enemies. She'd ended a 2-year relationship, but it was totally amicable. There was no angry ex, no weird business stuff, nothing that would make her just disappear.
On the night she disappeared, Chloe said Madison's behavior was a little off, but not in a way that raised any major alarms at the time. She got home from work around 7 p.m., looking tired. She didn't talk much, just made a small dinner and sat on the couch, scrolling through her phone. Around 10:30 p.m., Madison stood up and said something Chloe would replay in her mind 1,000 times.
I have to go meet someone. It's important.
I asked who, but she was vague. She just said it was about a project and that she wouldn't be long. She grabbed her coat and left. I figured it was a freelance client, something she did on the side sometimes. That was the last conversation we ever had.
When Chloe woke up the next morning, Madison's bed was empty. It hadn't been slept in. Her calls to Madison's phone went straight to voicemail. At first, Chloe thought maybe she'd stayed at a friend's house, but as the hours ticked by, a knot of worry tightened in her stomach. By Friday evening, after calling all of Madison's friends and her parents, none of whom had heard from her, Chloe called the police and reported her missing. The investigation began immediately, but they were already 20 hours behind. 20 hours since Madison had walked out her front door and into the rainy October night, thinking she would be right back. The police started where you'd expect, with Madison's phone. They were able to track its last signal, which pinged a cell tower near the industrial edge of the city at 11:04 p.m. The location was Glenmore Avenue. This led them to the corner store, where they pulled the security tapes and found the haunting footage of Madison running. The discovery of the video was a breakthrough, but it also deepened the mystery. Now they knew where she was, but the why was a complete blank.
We launched a massive search of the area. Abandoned factories, overgrown lots, railroad tracks, every inch. K-9 units, drones, volunteers. We found nothing. Not a shoe, not a button, not her phone. It was like she ran off the edge of the world.
With the physical search hitting a dead end, detectives turned their attention to Madison's digital life, hoping to find a clue on her laptop. They dug through her emails, her social media, her search history. At first, it all looked completely normal. Work projects, messages with friends, articles about graphic design. But then they found something strange.
In her drafts folder, there was this unsent message. It just said, "They know." I don't know how, but they know. Don't look for me. The timestamp was the day before she disappeared.
This discovery changed everything. Who were they? And what did they know? It suggested that Madison's quiet life wasn't so quiet after all.
I remember a couple weeks before she went missing, Madison seemed different, jumpier. She started locking her office door, which she never did before. I asked if she was okay, and she just said she was stressed about a deadline. But honestly, she seemed scared.
Then came the most disturbing clue of all. Hidden deep within a folder on her laptop, buried under layers of design files, was a single photograph. It was a blurry, low-quality picture, taken from a distance, of a man in a dark car parked across the street from her office building. The photo was time-stamped 2 weeks before she went missing. It looked like a picture someone would take if they thought they were being watched. The license plate wasn't visible, and the man's face was obscured by shadow. Police could never identify him or the vehicle. But the photo, combined with the note and her recent paranoia, painted a chilling picture. Madison knew she was in danger. Today is June 8th, 2025. It has been almost 8 years since Madison Rayner ran across that CCTV screen and vanished. The case is still open, but it has long gone cold. The file sits in a box at the police department, filled with reports, interviews, and theories, but no answers. Every year, on the anniversary of her disappearance, local news stations run a short segment. They show the grainy footage of her running, her high school graduation picture, and an interview with her parents, whose faces are etched with a grief that never fades. They plead for information, for anyone who knows anything to come forward. But the phone lines remain silent. The clues that once seemed so promising, the cryptic email, the blurry photo, the mysterious figure on the tape, have led nowhere. The man in the car was never identified. The meaning of her note, "They know," remains a subject of endless speculation among online sleuths and true crime enthusiasts. Was it related to her work, a freelance project gone wrong, or something from a past she had kept hidden from everyone, even those closest to her? Without Madison here to explain, it's all just guesswork. The police investigated every angle, from a random abduction to a planned disappearance, but no theory ever stuck. There was simply no evidence to support any of it. For Madison's family and friends, the lack of resolution is a unique kind of torture.
I moved out of our old place years ago, but I still have nightmares about that night. Sometimes I wonder if I should have pressed her for more info, or if I should have stopped her from leaving.
We just want to know what happened to our daughter. If anyone knows anything, please just tell us. We need answers.
Her parents hold on to a sliver of hope that she might still be alive somewhere, but as the years pass, that hope wears thin. They are left suspended in a state of not knowing, unable to mourn, unable to move on. They are haunted by the same image that haunts the case itself: Madison, running in the rain. And so the story ends where it began, on a dark street with a grainy piece of footage. It's a story with a beginning and a middle, but no end. We are left with the same question that investigators have asked themselves for nearly 8 years. What was Madison Rayner running from that night? Was she running from the shadowy figure who appeared on the tape moments later? Or was she running from a threat that was far less visible, a secret she carried that finally caught up to her on that cold, rainy October night? We may never know the answer. All we know for sure is that in 5 seconds of silent, frantic motion, she ran out of the light and into a mystery that endures. In the days and weeks after Madison Rayner vanished, investigators scoured Glenmore Avenue for anyone who might have seen or heard something. The police report is filled with witness statements, fragments of memory, half-remembered details, and raw emotion. One neighbor, Mrs. Cartwright, recalled, "I was watching the rain from my window when I saw a girl run past. She looked scared. I thought maybe she was late for something, but the way she glanced over her shoulder, like someone was chasing her, I'll never forget that look." Further down the street, a delivery driver named Joel Martinez described a flash of movement at the edge of his headlights. It was quick, just a blur. She darted across the road, nearly slipped on the wet pavement. I slowed down, but she was gone before I could even react. I wish I'd stopped. I keep thinking about that. A teenage boy, Adam Lee, was walking his dog nearby. I heard footsteps, fast, like someone running for their life. Then I heard a car door slam. I didn't see the car, but I heard it speed off. My dog started barking like crazy. I was scared, so I just went home. But not all statements brought clarity. Some contradicted each other. Others trailed off into uncertainty. A woman who lived on the corner insisted she saw 2 figures, not one. Another neighbor claimed to hear voices arguing, but couldn't make out the words. Detectives pressed for details, hoping for a breakthrough. Each interview ended the same way, with witnesses staring down at their hands, voices trembling, unsure if what they remembered was real or just imagined. "I wish I could help more," Mrs. Cartwright said, voice cracking. "I see her face every time I look out that window. I wonder if I could have done something." As the leads dried up, the weight of what-ifs grew heavier for everyone involved. Their words, recorded in the case file, are echoes from a night that refuses to let go. The search for Madison Rayner became more than an investigation. It became a shared memory of fear, guilt, and haunting uncertainty. And for those who saw her last, the question remains: did they witness a desperate escape, or the final moments before she vanished forever? Inside the Glenmore Police Department, the investigation took on a life of its own. Files piled up on Detective Harris's desk, pages of official statements, audio logs, and transcripts, each one a piece of the puzzle. The following are excerpts from those tense interrogations, preserved in the case file. Detective Harris, firm measured. "Mrs. Cartwright, you said you saw Madison look over her shoulder. Did you see anyone behind her?" Mrs. Cartwright: "No, just shadows. Maybe someone was there. Maybe it was the rain. I'm not sure anymore." Joel Martinez, driver: "I told you, I just saw her for a second. She was running fast. I didn't see anyone chasing her, but there was a car parked up the street, headlights off. I thought it was odd." Detective Harris: "Can you describe the car?" "Dark. Sedan, maybe? Sorry, I didn't get the plates." Adam Lee, teenager: "I heard the door slam, and then the engine. It was a deep sound, like an old car. I was scared, so I pulled my dog back and ran." Detective Harris: "Did you see anyone else?" Adam: "No, just heard voices. Angry, maybe? I couldn't tell what they were saying." Detective Harris, later in private: "Every statement leaves us with more questions. If there was a car, who was driving? If there were voices, who was arguing? And if Madison was running for her life, why didn't anyone see her again?" In the weeks that followed, new evidence surfaced. evidence that only deepened the mystery and unsettled even the most seasoned investigators. The first discovery came from a city worker clearing debris near the creek behind Glenmore Avenue. Hidden beneath a tangle of fallen branches, he found a single running shoe, mud-caked, faded, but unmistakably the same brand and color Madison wore that night. Nearby, a silver charm bracelet glinted in the morning light, its clasp broken, a single letter M dangling from its chain. But the most chilling clue arrived anonymously, a USB drive slipped through the mail slot at the police station. On it, grainy, time-stamped footage from a home security camera 2 blocks from where Madison vanished. The footage showed a dark sedan idling at the curb, headlights off. A figure, face obscured by rain and shadow, opened the passenger door, pausing for a moment before disappearing inside. Seconds later, the car sped away. Detective Harris replayed the footage on loop, searching for answers. The timestamps didn't match the witness statements. The car left Glenmore Avenue 15 minutes before the last sighting of Madison. Was this the wrong car, or was there more than one? Even more confounding, a set of muddy footprints was found behind an abandoned shed, too small for an adult, but too large for a child. The prints vanished at the edge of the woods, swallowed by the rain-soaked earth. Each new piece of evidence contradicted the last, twisting the investigation in knots. With every answer, another question emerged, leaving the truth just out of reach and the shadows of Glenmore Avenue darker than ever. As the months slipped by, the investigation into Madison's disappearance grew colder, but the echoes of that night refused to fade. The evidence, scattered, contradictory, formed a puzzle with pieces that didn't quite fit. Detectives and volunteers scoured the woods, revisited old leads, and pored over hours of surveillance footage, searching for the missing link. Then, just as hope began to wane, a new clue surfaced. In the early hours of a foggy morning, a local hiker stumbled upon something unusual deep within the forest, a weathered journal, its pages warped by rain and time. Inside, shaky handwriting described someone being watched, followed, and a growing sense of dread. The entry stopped abruptly, with the final line reading, "If you find this, it's not over. He's still out there." The handwriting was never matched to Madison, or anyone else connected to the case. Forensic analysis turned up nothing. The journal's origin remained a mystery. Rumors spread quickly. Some believed it was a cruel prank. Others whispered that Madison herself had written it, or that it belonged to someone else who had vanished before. Theories multiplied, each more unsettling than the last. Detective Harris, staring out his office window as dusk settled over Glenmore Avenue, couldn't shake the feeling that the truth was still out there, just beyond the reach of reason, waiting in the shadows. And so the case remains open. The unanswered questions linger, haunting the town and everyone who remembers that stormy Thursday night. Was Madison taken by someone she knew? Did she run from something unseen? Or is the real story something no one has dared to imagine? Sometimes, the darkest mysteries are the ones that never find an ending. A single voice breaks through the silence. Eliza Hammond, Madison's neighbor. Her words echo in the investigator's tape, shaky but certain. "I saw Madison that night. She was running, glancing over her shoulder. There was someone behind her, but I couldn't see their face." Detective Halburn's voice is steady, probing. "Did you recognize the person following her?" Eliza's reply is barely above a whisper. "No, but they moved quickly, almost like they knew the area." The evidence left behind is chilling. A torn piece of Madison's jacket, found near the alley, its fabric stained with something that looks like blood. CCTV footage captures the scene, but for exactly 17 seconds at 11:42 p.m., it glitches. Madison vanishes from view, swallowed by the darkness. Outside, rain thrums harder against the pavement. Streetlights flicker, casting long shadows across Glenmore Avenue. The dread is palpable now, seeping into every corner of the investigation. Each testimony, each fragment of evidence, only deepens the mystery, leaving behind more questions than answers. The rain has stopped. Morning breaks over Glenmore Avenue, washing away the night's shadows and bringing with it a sense of peace long denied. After 8 years of silence, haunted memories, and unanswered questions, the truth finally emerges, offering long-awaited clarity. Detective Halburn stands before the press, his voice steady, but now carrying the weight of resolution. The investigation is over. The mysterious figure, finally identified as Jacob Rowe, a former acquaintance of Madison's, had let his obsession spiral in secret. Digital forensics revealed the hidden truth. Deleted messages and secret calls, evidence of a troubled connection that had gone unnoticed for too long. The infamous CCTV glitch? Not a conspiracy, but a simple power surge from the storm, confirmed by city engineers, offering a rational answer to years of speculation. For 17 seconds, fate intervened, and Madison and Jacob vanished from sight, leaving behind only questions. The torn jacket and the blood, long symbols of fear and uncertainty. DNA testing, delayed by bureaucracy, finally brought answers. Both Madison's and Jacob's blood, proof of a desperate struggle. In a forgotten drainage tunnel beneath the city, police found the final pieces: Madison's backpack and her cherished bracelet, a symbol of her spirit. The truth is heartbreaking, but it brings release. In the alley, Madison fought back, bravely, refusing to be a victim, her courage shining through the darkness. Jacob, wounded and desperate, fled the city that night, leaving behind a trail that would finally lead to justice. He was found living under a false name, brought back to face the consequences of his actions. Eliza Hammond, once burdened by guilt, finds solace as she lays flowers where she last saw Madison. Her tears now a release, not a prison. She was so much stronger than anyone knew, Eliza whispers, her words a tribute to Madison's enduring strength. The Rayner family gathers at Glenmore Avenue, surrounded by neighbors, detectives, and all who never gave up hope. The community, once fractured by fear, comes together, healing in shared remembrance, united by love and resilience. Madison's story, once a haunting mystery, now finds its ending. Her memory is honored, her voice echoing in the hearts of those she touched, no longer lost to the night. Glenmore Avenue, once a place of shadows, is now bathed in morning light, a symbol of hope, healing, and new beginnings. And for the first time in 8 years, Madison Rayner's family and the city can finally say goodbye, holding on to her memory with love and stepping forward into the light.